Welcome to Breaking the Chain. I'm Jacob.
And I'm Cody.
And we have an episode talking about the calling and some of our overall thoughts on Super Slam. This might be a shorter episode, but you never know with us. We always can talk way too long.
There's no guarantees there.
Right. Anyways, how was your week in Flesh and Blood?
It was the usual. I didn't make it to any armories, unfortunately, but I did a lot of Talishar testing for the upcoming ProQuest season. How about you?
I'm in a pretty similar boat. My schedule's been all over the place the last couple weeks, which has been interesting. So I couldn't make it to any armories. I'm thinking about trying to make it to one tomorrow, but outside of that, it's just been Talishar on my nights off.
Yeah.
And Volda keeps feeling better and better. It's really bad. I'm definitely locked in on Volda.
What do you mean is bad?
Well, it's a little scary because you look at and we'll talk a little bit later in the callings. Guardian's not good.
I don't know what you're talking about. Guardian's been overperforming.
Is that 2 Guardians in day 2?
Yeah, exactly.
So, I say they're not good. I think they're all right, but I just feel so good into a lot of the meta relevant heroes. KO feels good. Gravy feels good. Syndra feels okay. Verdance and Florian, I feel okay in the Florian, although the rest of Talishar seems to not think the same thing. And Verdance still is a work in progress, but
yeah,
it's a lot of the top meta I'm feeling pretty good into.
That's good. Yeah, I remember you mentioned last week that you were excited about playing Volda in a PUQ, and we'll get to that later, but looks like you might finally be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, speaking of, so yeah, you can now make a PQ, right? Because you previously were worried you weren't able to make any of them, but now you're pretty sure you can make one of them.
I'm pretty sure I can make level 7 North, so that should be fun. I'm gonna bring Volda. I'm pretty sure it's CC, and I'm really excited. And I feel like I have something to prove to myself because I've been playing a lot, I've been testing a lot, I've been messing with this deck. So it's probably the most I've practiced for a PQ in ages. So I really want to go and perform. And even if I don't make top 8, I want to be proud in how I play this deck and make it feel like this wasn't just the wrong decision, because it's the most I've felt like a Guardian's been relevant since at least heavy hitters.
Yeah.
So it's I want to go and prove something to myself.
I bet you'll make top 8. I'd be surprised if you did. You're pretty on top of that deck, so I believe.
And I've got some surprise factor playing Volda. No one expects that coming.
Exactly.
Except for all the locals. But we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah, so at least one PQ, maybe your schedule changes, you can do even more.
Right.
And then I definitely plan to go to 2 PQs this weekend. We actually have 3 PQs in the area this weekend. Well, I say in the area. Wyoming is kind of in the area. It's a bit of a drive.
Close enough.
Yeah, it's part of the Discord group because of its proximity. But anyway, yeah, we actually have 3 PQs in the quote unquote area this weekend, locally in the Denver area. 1 on Saturday, that is an LL PQ, and 2 on Sunday. I think they're both CC PQs. And I'm going to 2 PQs, the Saturday one and the Wyoming one if I don't win the Saturday one, I'll go to the Wyoming one on Sunday. I'm really hoping just to take down the first one and then not need to drive all the way to Wyoming, but it is what it is. You can't hope for a win. You just kind of have to hope to top 8 and then get lucky, right? But anywho, I'm gonna actually be playing Chain in LL. And the reason for that, I was originally wanting to play Drumeye because I love Drumeye. She was my main. And she's actually not bad in LL. However, there's gonna be a lot of ninjas at that PQ. I'm just that area just has a lot of ninja players, and therefore we'll just have a lot of ninjas. And while I felt pretty good about the Katsu matchup as Dromai in CC back in the day, I don't feel good against the Katsu and LL with all this stuff and uh, how the decks have changed. So not to mention Zen and uh, there's another ninja that's and Ira, like Needle Ira. Like that would not be a good matchup either for Dromai. So switching up to Chain, very strong deck. Kind of just can play itself sometimes too, so I don't have to know too much about it, which is nice. And then if I go to the CCPQ on Sunday, then I'm playing Dash.io. I was actually originally going to be playing Florian, and then I kept playing some more Talishar games, and my team was just like, why are you doing this to yourself? Just play Dio. I was like, you know what? You guys gotta have a point. I'll just play Dio.
Dio is pretty good right now.
Yeah, she's really not bad. So, as a slight errata to our tier list from last week, I didn't know where Dio stood against KO. I've since come to find out through word of mouth and through my own experience that she's pretty good against KO. So she gets to be bumped up a bit on that A tier, probably near the middle of A tier on that list now. Really just scared about Florian and Guardians, and that's about it.
Yeah, I mean, like one question I have is like, especially after seeing this last weekend, do we still think KO's like A tier or S tier?
Yeah. We'll talk about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely. I was under the impression that he would at least be top of A tier, but it's kind of looking like he's not even close to that.
I mean, he's still early into like these new cards, and a lot of people haven't played him since like Misfail came out.
Yeah.
So it's like I could still see him being like A tier.
Yeah.
But man.
Yeah, it was not a good performance.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get to that. But overall, playing up to 2 PQs this weekend, and then if I don't get my win, because I'm really aiming to get my invite to ProQuest or Pro Tour Yokohama, and so we have like 7 PQs or something this season in the area. So I'll be going every weekend until I get it. Is the plan. But yeah, with that, we have some events that happened this past week. We have Calling Shizuka, I might be mispronouncing that, and Battle Hardened Guadalajara. For Calling Shizuka, we have a metagame report. So here was a metagame. There were, it doesn't say how many players there were. Darn. It's probably roughly like 350, 400. And first we have KO with 44. So the number one brought hero was KO at 44 players. Then it was Florian at 42 players. And then it drops off a little bit to Syndra at 29 players, Gravy at 28, Verdance 22, Fang 15, Ira 15, Kasai 13, Kano 9, and then a ton of other heroes past that. So KO the most brought, followed by Florian. And we see Syndra, Gravy, Verdance, and Fang up there. And then for day 2 conversion rates, the most heroes was Syndra at 12, then Gravy at 11, tied with Florian at 11 as well. And then in terms of conversion rate, the highest appears to be Dash.io. 3 out of the 5 Dash.ios made day 2, which is pretty cool. And then for the lowest conversion rate, it was KO at 11%. Only 5 of the 44 KOs made day 2.
And again, I want to add, like, I think partially that is like a lot of people jumping on this hero with all this hype of like, oh, fruits are gonna be good. Like, let me jump on. Like, I have a chance.
Yeah.
And then, like, I think jumping onto any hero in Flesh and Blood takes more than just like taking up the hero and playing it. There is like matchup strategies to every single match that you have to play. So it's something where it's like, I think that has some relevancy is like no one's played KO in a long time and no one knows how to play KO.
Yeah. I mean, that's the slight factor. However, I was going to start talking about the meta when it comes to KO. So come to find out, KO is not great into Florian. You're not great into Syndra. You're not great into Gravy. I don't know where you stay with Verdance. You actually might be favored in Verdance. But that's the top of the meta, as you saw here.
Yeah.
It was the other heroes were Florian, Syndra, Gravy, Verdance, Fang, Ira. you might be fine into the Verdant's Fang Ira, but those are below the top right heroes of Florian, Syndra, and Gravy. And so you're kind of just not well positioned right now. You have a very strong game plan, but the meta is just a little bit hostile to you. And so I think that's where we went wrong with our tier list was, yeah, the deck is strong, but the meta is a little bit hostile, right? Um, so
And I think a lot of it too is not quite understanding what KO was good into, because we had a lot of like, well, maybe.
Yeah, there's a lot of uncertainty there. We know he got stronger, and he is stronger. It's just that the other decks aren't really susceptible to that strength as much as the rest of the meta.
Yeah.
So KO not really performing too well after all. Probably drops to the bottom of A tier, considering the current meta. And then Florian did fine. Gravy did really well. So Gravy just did not see any problems with this meta. However, we do see that the top two decks that were brought were KO and Florian, which are good matchups, followed by then Syndra. And then there's also Verdance. There's still like a bit of a hostile meta in there, but the top two decks being good matchups probably helped the Gravy's out a bit.
Well, I want to say that like I think we learned over this weekend that Gravy still has it. Like he still has the answers to a lot of decks and a lot of problems. Like even in like spoiler alert, like top 8 of the finals, you had Gravy's beat at least one Syndra.
Yeah, I guess we can go over the top 8 really quick for Shizuoka, however you pronounce it. We had 2 Gravies, 2 Syndras, a Florian, a KO, a Rhinar, and a Verdance. And then the finals was Syndra versus Gravy, and Syndra took it down.
I don't know, was it? I can't remember what game it was, but I think it was the finals where it looked back and forth, and it's like, oh, this person's gonna win. Oh, this person's gonna win.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
And then it was like the very last turn where like Gravy looked like he was gonna win, and the Syndra player drew the exact 2 cards that he needed to win that game.
Aura Dragonfire.
Yeah.
To get past the evasion or the blocking power of Gravy. Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy game is what I heard. So yeah, cool meta. I think it's fairly what was expected, with a little bit less KO at the top. The Rhinar was surprising too. I heard that that game was really cool to see, or rather, all the Rhinar games during the weekend were really cool to see.
I do want to say, like, I did watch a few of the Rhinar games, and like Rhinar looks a lot better. He looks pretty cool too and strong. So I was actually thoroughly impressed with Rhinar. Yeah, I'd be interested to see if more Rhinars come out.
Yeah, we put him at like what, middle of B tier, and the reason for that is that he did get a lot of new tools, and there's a lot of ways to play Rhinar, a lot of deck building options when it comes to that deck, because you can lean more into the Intimidate, or you can lean more into the Fatigue style. You can lean more into aggression with like Intimidate over the top. There's a few, like a lot of different axes you can pivot the deck choice to, or you can even have a little bit of a switchboard or hybrid game plan in there. So there's just the deck building aspect of Rhinar is really large, really wide, I should say. And I think that we might see some better performances of Rhinar as time goes on, as people figure the deck out.
Yeah, I think he's actually doing fairly well right now. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him like start making his way up this list. But I think our positioning was pretty close to correct. Like he's definitely a playable hero, and I think if you sit down and know what you're doing, you have a chance, especially at your ProQuest level with Rhinar.
Yeah, and I will say, I wonder if we put Verdance too low. Maybe she was supposed to be top of A, or not top of A, like middle of A, because she is good. She really didn't lose that much.
I guess like what my thought was like, and yeah, she didn't lose that much, and she still has a lot of value through just playing the game like the way she does. She has a lot of healing. She still has a combo. She like still has Felling and Plow Under, which are still very strong cards. Like she still has a lot of answers. I guess like my thought process was like now people have a chance into her instead of like before it's like some decks just don't have a chance.
Right.
And that's where I think like she definitely got worse. I think she's like, and I think this proves like she would have been like without the ban top of S tier. Like she would have been the deck because like she could just do anything. But now she's dropped down a little bit, but still has these answers, just can't get them whenever she needs. She needs to play like a regular hero and draw them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's just that with Gravy losing a bit of his strength, you can actually you have a little bit of a better chance in that matchup, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so and then since this Gravy isn't as dominant, I mean, Gravy's still up there in play rate and conversion rate, but since he's not quite as dominant, you just run into your terrible matchup less. Um, so yeah, I think Verdant is just not in a bad spot. Not like the best deck ever, not like S tier or top of A, but it's just not in a bad spot. And then actually, before we continue, we can go over the top 8 of Battle Hardened Guadalajara. In that one, there were 2 Verdants, a Syndra, a Victor, 2 Florian, a Riptide, and an Acilio. And the finals was Acilio versus Verdants, and Verdants took it down. So Verdants actually taking down that Battle Hardened, speaking of.
One thing I want to say I'm really surprised about is Riptide making it top 8. Like
Yeah,
especially in this, it looks like very earth heavy over in can't say it.
yeah. Earth and then played against Acilio. Like Riptide's just not the pick.
Yeah.
I don't know what the bracket was for him to get up there, but I would not recommend playing Riptide
And I
in
can't
this
imagine
meta.
Victor's friendly either. Like a lot of times he's throwing like vanilla damage, like
I
three,
mean,
4, 5 times a game he busts his power. But like,
yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that Victor lost to Syndra, which is what you really want to bring it for. You want to bring it for Syndra. You can
yeah,
have a fatigue game plan into Gravy. That might work. Um, and you can beat Florian. It's going to be really tough, but you can. Um, and so it's
I
not
don't
the
know if you
worst
saw
pick.
like the new strategy going around with Victor beating Florian, but it was about pitch stacking all your gold main estates on
Yep.
each other.
Yep, I
So you
did.
could just make like 20 mites or something, and then throw like this huge attack that Florian just can't block to kill him.
Yep. Yeah, if you do Golden Sun too, you can give it overpower. Just make
Yeah, like super actually really cool kind of gameplay strategy and like makes me want to look at Victor again, but he's very low on my list right now, but it makes him
yeah.
look a little more interesting.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean that's what I'm trying to say is that there's some flexibility there. He just has some raw strength too.
Oh yeah.
Like he has the new Clash card that is just disgusting to aggro. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean all around good hero is just not the ideal meta for him. I think once some of these bad matchups clear up, then Victor's gonna be a top deck.
Yeah. And like one thing I want to bring up that like is a little unfortunate is in at least the calling. The day 2 conversion for all the new heroes is one hero. Out of all like there's not a lot of the new heroes, but we had 7 Pallades, we had 3 RKOs.
Yeah, it was what it was release weekend, right? Because Super Slam came
That's
out
true.
on Friday. Well, a week ago today.
One life.
Um, and so everyone probably couldn't gather all the cards and play test in time. So there just weren't very many of the new heroes to begin with.
I guess that's very fair. But it
But
definitely is like
there's zero
tough
Lyeth.
to see.
Oh, and there's one
No, there's
Lyeth.
one Lyeth. There's no tough nut.
Zero tough nut. Yeah, it's
My
that's just so weird. Like why
yeah.
didn't people bring the best deck in the game? Tough nut. Like I don't get it. What?
Top of D tier.
uh,
But I
so funny. People I don't understand. There's like I was even hearing the Runaways, kind of hyping up Tough Nut a little bit, and I was like, what are people seeing in this deck? I don't get it.
Again, I think it's a lot of people that play these mid-range to slow decks. Tough Nut
Yeah.
just wins. Like he just
Sure.
destroys you in those
You
decks.
have some auto
But
wins.
then all of a sudden you see like aggro and it's like,
But like even in those
good.
auto wins, if your opponent has a game plan into you, you just lose. It's just only the decks that don't have a single game plan into you. Like they really don't know what to do. Those are the only those are the only wins you have. You don't beat anything else. I don't know. Like
I get a little harsh on Tough Nut, but
like even like Dash IO, you don't beat Dash IO. Okay, you maybe beat KO. You don't beat Florian. You don't beat Syndra. You don't beat Gravy. You don't beat Verdance. You don't beat Fang. You don't beat Ira. I'm going down the list of the metagame right now. You don't beat Kasai. You don't beat Kano. You maybe beat Arachne, Marionette. Maybe Dory. Probably not though. You probably don't beat Dory. You don't beat Acilio. You don't beat Pleiades. You don't beat Vincent. You don't beat Dash IO. You don't beat Jarl. You don't beat Reinar.
I could see you destroying Jarl.
Okay, maybe you can beat Jarl.
And like Pleiades is probably weak to Tough Nut because like she's trying to only throw one attack.
You make like 1 or 2 toughness as Tough Nut. Maybe sometimes
when you run that
3.
one attack when you block, you
and then
create
Pleiades use
like,
damage stack, and on toughness
he also has
like here
Pleiades boots that he
here's
wears.
either a rock or a 2 for 8 that you're just gonna block 2 cards on and keep setting up with, and leak 2 damage, and you just get infinite time. There are some decks that run scav skins and can do go again. I know that, but it's just few and far between, even when that happens. So
Probably
anyway,
really good
rants over on Tough Nut.
Yeah. But anyways, like it is like opening weekend, but like wasn't it like the last couple of weekends, like opening weekend, you had like someone top 8 the event on the new heroes. Like it was I think Syndra in the first one, and you had Gravy in the last one.
I remember, yeah. I mean that is a pretty common thing lately, right? Because Yuki took KO to a Call-In Battle Hardened on the release weekend for heavy hitters, and then
Enigma won that Misfales release weekend.
Yep. And then
Did
Syndra won that release weekend.
Yep.
Was I'm missing a set somewhere in between.
Rosetta.
Did Aurora win the first one?
I'm not entirely sure, actually. They might have been like a different hero, but I feel like there's still like representation.
It's probably a Misspell hero.
Heroes. It probably was.
It's probably a Misspell hero.
But like, I think there's still representation of the new heroes.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm gonna say. Over the last like year and a half, it's been like, oh, like the new heroes mean something on release weekend, and then release weekend happens for this set, and one person, not even one hero represented. One person represented day 2.
Yeah.
On Pleiades.
Which it is interesting. So I've been seeing some of the hype for the set die down over the past week or two. People are realizing that the new heroes just aren't quite strong enough. I've heard some rumblings that RKO or Cheeto is strong, but maybe just not the best position right now. But
that's like wild to me. Like your Tough Nut hate is my RKO hate. It like just
really
like it's Uzuri without the on hits to me. It's like sure he has some like stronger plays than Uzuri, but it's like to me like just stay above life. Just don't drop below him.
I've been getting sold on RKO. It's weird. It's like a medium strength deck that is just ever so slightly doing better numbers than other like mid-range decks. And so it's nothing impressive, right? Like you don't look at the deck and you're like, oh, this is doing something nuts. Because it isn't doing anything nuts. It's just doing good, like solid numbers. That's all it is. And so that's the reason that it's decent, is that it just gets solid numbers. And so it's apparently the only playable hero, which is kind of interesting. I thought Pleiades was going to be much better than she is currently performing.
I think Pleiades okay, and I think there's still a lot of room for her to grow because I think she is more of a complex deck. And I mean, she still made day 2 comparatively.
Mhm.
So it's like I still think there's room for Pallades. I think it is just one of those heroes that you have to sit down and master. You have to know your game plans. You have to know what instance to bring in, when you do this game plan, when you have to play for a second turn, when you can't play for a second turn. Like I think she is one of those heroes that's gonna take a while. But when she's like finally solved, like she's gonna be relevant in the meta like all the time. Is she going to be top of the meta? I can't tell you if she ever will be, but it feels like a
Yeah.
hero that I think needs more time to cook. But it feels more of like an Acilio to me. She's like the Acilio of this set, where she's gonna be relevant. There's gonna be metas that are really bad for her, but like with Acilio right now, like if you know how to play her, then you're gonna do okay at least.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. She's a very tough deck to play correctly, and will just get better over time. But I still think there's just a fundamental flaw with the way that the deck
Yeah.
works and the way that you
Well,
play the game. Go
I
ahead.
want to say the weakest part of her hero card is the Guardian text at the bottom.
Yeah, that is funny. If she was an illusionist instead, then she would be so strong. Literally, just swap out the Guardian cards for the illusionist cards, like Miraji Metamorph and whatnot, and
Yeah. I mean, like, I say that half jokingly, but I mean, we just got 2 sets, and she's one of 2 Guardians that made it to top day 2. Like,
yeah, yeah, that is kind of sad, isn't it? That Guardian got 2 sets in a row and it's still not good. Uh, yeah, I'm still a little sad that Mastery Pack didn't give as much of a power buff as it did.
well, and it's like Mastery Pack was Valda, the Armory deck in Mastery or in pack form. Like,
It was
that's
yeah, it
kind of
was
the consensus.
basically Armory Deck Volda plus Crack Shuffle play in a
Yeah.
box. That's
And
really
there's
what it
some
was.
fun things about it, but
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's interesting because yeah, Pallades seemed like she was going to be very strong, and just the cards are just barely not there for her to be a top deck. She will get better. She'll end up starting to make top eights and stuff once people really learn how to play her. But I don't think she's gonna win anything for a while. I think it's gonna be
oh, yeah.
a long like I don't expect her to even top eight worlds if I'm gonna be honest. Um,
I don't expect that either.
yeah, I think she's gonna need like an expansion slot card to really start winning. People will do well with her. She's going to win some PQs. She's going to maybe take down even a battle hardened, but I don't think that she's going to win anything major for a while until she gets some help.
Yeah. No, I mean, with how this last expansion slot went, I would really hope and really expect the next set is going to have 4 slots for the 4 heroes in this set, or at least have like a revered and reviled for the heroes, so they can both pick up and or all of them pick up in
Yeah,
play.
I mean that's something we could talk about. Should that be a common thing for heroes to get a release in one set and then the following set get expansion slot cards? Like
I
is
don't know if
that
it should be common. Like I think this expansion slot was a little bit crazy because there was so much room, and they're like, "Oh, we gotta give stuff for the new heroes,"
yeah.
especially when they're like really popular and all that. But it's like I don't think that's going to be a common and ongoing thing for every single set. But it's something where it's like, especially with how this set has kind of like leveled out. Not that these heroes are bad. Like I think you'll have a great time at your armory with a lot of these heroes. Like I think you'll have a great time with Pallades and still have a really good chance of winning your armory. Like I think RKO you can do well at the armory. Like, but it's
Yeah.
like if they want to make them like competitively viable at like a calling level, like I think they're gonna want, especially Pallades being the armory deck. Like you want people to jump into this competitive level.
Yeah.
They have to give her a little bit of a power boost to make it make sense. Like I'm not like I'm a guardian. I'm gonna invest in Pallades, but like I'm not gonna like as a new player looking to get competitively into Flesh and Blood look at Pallades' performance this weekend and be like, oh, I should buy the new Armory deck.
Yeah, it's interesting because like as a company, LSS wants to have strong stuff in the set for people to buy the set because
Yeah,
as I was alluding to earlier, I've heard that the set is dropping like a rock in terms of the price and the demand. I've had a lot of people like posting cases for sale in the local Discord, and I had someone directly offer me like, "Hey, I have an extra case if you want it." I didn't have that at all for High Seas or Hunted. That just wasn't a thing for those
I
two sets.
but I want to say I also think there wasn't as like any not delays, but like problems with the printings or any of that this
Yeah,
set,
I've
and a
also
lot of
heard
things got fixed.
I've also heard that there were some good arguments made that because the set isn't drafted at any kind of competitive level, that there's
Mhm.
more product available in that sense. Because, for example, these PQs there aren't drafts, so none of the
Yeah,
stores need product for drafts. There aren't any calling or battle hardened drafts, or it's not being drafted for worlds, so they don't need to hold product for worlds, right? So there's potentially just extra product in supply for that reason. Um, so there might just be a higher supply than demand in general, but I think also the demand is kind of low because of the lack of competitive viability of the heroes. And I think that's something that as a company also probably wants to avoid. You want to have at least one hero that is good and people want to play, so that people buy the product and are hyped about it and opening packs and stuff. Um, and I think that was supposed to be Pallades, but it just kind of fell through a little bit. Um,
well, I
and
think the
Go ahead.
biggest week again, I think like it's supposed to be Pallades, and I think she can do some really strong and broken things. And like I said, like she has the chance to be some strong hero and always meta relevant, but like she she can buff these crazy big attacks, but the best card to buff in her entire deck is CNC.
Or Cries of Encore.
And I mean, Cries of Encore, yes, but like
Yeah.
outside of those two cards, like what are you looking to buff in her? Like maybe Spinal Crush, but even like in some of my testing, Spinal feels super expensive for that deck. Like it
It
is
is.
hard for her to throw a Spinal Crush because
Yeah.
she's not running as high a blue base as normal Guardians do, which is like interesting that they made Spinal Crush feel bad in the deck. But
Yeah. I
it's
think I think that's one of the biggest problems with her is that a lot she wants to play all these red auras and then can't also play the density of red attacks without hurting her cost curve and her blue pitch base.
and the other thing is like her blue attacks, like her strongest blue attacks cost 6 in a deck that doesn't
Yeah.
have a high blue count.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, it feels like this, like she struggles to understand what her pitch curve is because she wants a like low blue count so she can pop off it or like pop off and do these really big turns. But then also all of her good attacks cost a lot. So she wants a high blue count, but it's like just counteracting. And that's kind of what she's fighting against. And
Yeah.
it's like the other thing is like, other than CNC, like what do you care to like CNC and Cries of Encore and like maybe Spinal Crest? Like, what do you care to buff? Like,
Yeah. Like
oh,
I
you
don't like
could
red
do
boulder
Boulder
drop.
Drop Red.
Yeah, that's not a bad one, but it's still not anything crazy.
And
So
that's where I'm like, I would have thought that this set had one Guardian attack that would have been relevant. Like, even if it's not like on hit, discard a card or something silly like that. But like a crush card that was like Spinal Crush level, but nothing seems to be at that point.
yeah, I mean there are the yellow tower cards and the yellow crush cards that she could run, but you have to do so much setup to get the payoff for them that
Yeah.
it's just tough, right?
And the
Um
problem is if you draw them when you don't have the setup, they are like the worst cards.
yeah. I mean they are
A
block
0 for
threes.
3 with no text.
Yeah.
Woo!
They also pitch they're not
Woo!
reds, which is at least something. They're yellows.
Yeah, but they're in Guardian, so like if it doesn't pitch 3, it's pretty much a red. Like
Yeah.
it's like she had, like I said, like she has some really strong and broken things, and if things line up, like no one's touching you.
Yeah.
But it is like I like again, I think the biggest problem is like she just doesn't have anything she wants to throw.
Yeah.
Like I want to throw CNC when I play her. I want to throw Cries of Encore, but Cries of Encore is not slowing down the opponent. As the opponent, I can still take 20 from Cries of Encore. And if I'm Syndra, just be like, oh, just 20. Take it, 20
Yep.
back.
Thoughts?
And I don't have to use a setup turn. So it's like very cute. But like, yeah, it's kind
Trade
of what it's like.
offer. You die.
I'll take this 20. You can play an aura. You die. Sound like a good trade offer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
It's and like that feels like the biggest weakness of not only just Pallades, but like Guardian. Like, what do you care to throw? Like, we're the disruption class, but none of our disruption matters. It's really interesting. Well, we're not
yeah.
the disruption class, but
Yeah, and it is interesting because like Lynth is the same, is almost the same way, except he actually has disruption. Like
yeah, the
he
tower
does throw
cards
the tower
are
cards.
yeah are
Yeah,
good. Him,
yeah. You do like you often need to have confidence on them or some sort of evasion because they they often come in for like 13 or 14 and a lot of opponents will just be like, yeah, okay, have my hand, and then what are you gonna now? I just like if you don't throw disruption the next turn, like I guess I'm fine because that's something with Lynth too. I think like not to change the topic, but I think we might have exhausted Pleiades. I think she's like fine. She
yeah,
just needs she's just deck building problems and um, needs some a lot of play to master.
oh yeah,
But then Lynth is like this was the second big contender, right? Because a 5 intellect hero was showing off some pretty strong plays early on in testing. Um, but I think that there's just a bit of what's what I'm looking for? A bit of inconsistency, I suppose, in terms of the hand textures. You can
yeah,
draw these hands that have all attacks, and you just cannot convert them. You can draw hands. You can just like, draw these Runeblade hands, basically, um, or you might want to block with some of your auras, but you can't buff them with your hero ability, and so they just block for one. And then, so like, if you run out too many of the auras, then you can just have some really rough hands. Um, and I think it's the only thing holding him back because there's a lot of strength there. That deck can do some really strong things, but not being able to block very well into Syndra, and not being able to, or just having a little bit too many like low value hands because of the way that you draw up the cards, the way that or the order the cards come out. Just you stumble when you stumble pretty hard. Is I guess the big thing with that deck.
yeah. And it's I want to say this is kind of what I expected from the first like 5 intellect hero. Like, I didn't expect them to come out like, hey, this is best deck in the meta, because like I feel like that would be a very dangerous game if they're like, hey, let's make life like it's cool. And I think it would have been really cool if he was like best deck for a little bit. But it would be like playing with fire. Like in a game where
Yeah,
hand size is very much balancing of the game, and we banned a bunch of cards for drawing two, and you like imagine just at the start of turn draw an extra card. Like, that's pretty much what Wyeth is doing. Just draw a card for free at the start of every turn, or even the
almost,
start,
but
like at your end. Almost, but
yeah.
exactly. It would be playing with fire to make him good. So that's why I expected him to be like kind of middling, and then slowly he will get drip fed stuff until he's good. Like, that's kind of what
Yeah,
I imagined, because I feel like it would have been very scary to make him good, and then all of a sudden you turn one dial up even just a tiny bit too much. And then
yeah,
Lyth is the best deck, and there is just no beating him. And he would be like I would say like worst case scenario, Starvo level if they did too much to him.
yeah. And I agree with that. I think that is probably a good approach. So that kind of goes back to our topic of like, should they design these heroes with expansion slot cards in the next set? Like, should that be a norm? Because like for Lyth example, if they make him too strong, he's maybe just the best deck in the game, right? Um, and so that's probably best for a hero like that to start off not so strong, and then as give him some more support in the next sets, right? Um, and so, but you don't want to have that with every hero, right? And
Yeah.
I think it's like currently the problem is that every hero feels like they purposefully dialed them down or like didn't give them enough stuff so that they could give them more stuff as time goes on and make them to where they
Mhm.
want them to be. Like it's almost like they were afraid of some of the previous heroes coming out too strong and wanted to not do that with this set. and it might have
And
killed the
yeah,
hype for them.
yeah. Well, and another thing that I was like thinking is like, I mean, Miss Vale just left.
Yeah.
Like I say just left, but they left a few months ago, and it's the power level is slowly dropping back down to the like heavy hitters power level, like maybe a little bit stronger, but it's slowly dropping back down. And I mean, it is like you look at the top heroes, and it is Syndra, Gravy Bones, Florian, and Verdance and the day two conversion, and they're all the last three sets. And it could be something where they're like trying to bring it back down a little bit because it definitely did go a little bit crazy over the last year with power level. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing,
Yeah.
but it could be like, okay, let's try and reset the standard, get things kind of leveled out a bit. And then the problem with that is like, if you're not trying to power creep everything every single set, you're gonna have a set like this that's like comes out a little bit stale. But like once things level out, like I mean, is I think there's a threat of Florian leaving like this
Yeah.
Pro Quest season. Like
Florian will likely be gone
Florian
before Worlds.
leaves, and then like at Worlds, like or even a little bit after Verdance leaves, then like all of a sudden, like it feels like everything's dropping back down to a lower power level. And then these heroes definitely I feel like are gonna do well in a lower power level. It's just hard when you have these heroes from like Gravy Bones, who is really strong and just has the answers, or you sit down and you play Florian, which is like unrivaled late game versus Verdance inevitability. It's like all these higher level late game strategies that are more guaranteed than a lot of the other heroes.
Right. Yeah, and that is something too. Is like, yeah, maybe they want to bring the power level back down a little bit because this isn't the same power levels as heavy hitters, right? Because we have a strictly better KO that is not
Yeah.
winning. So the KO was the best, was well arguably the one of the best decks after heavy hitters, and even though he got much stronger, is still not the best deck right now, which says a lot. It says a lot about the power of the meta compared to back in heavy hitters, right?
I remember when the world was ending when they were coming out with the new chess
Decks,
piece for
yeah.
Brute. Like they're like, the world's ending, it's only gonna be KO for the next like 6 months, and then it was Mistveil, and there was never KO again.
Yeah. And to be fair, the meta had to pivot pretty hard around KO once that happened. Like it wasn't that outlandish for people's fears because KO
Oh yeah.
was one of the best decks, just got targeted, right? Also, Dromai just had a nuts a nuts bright lights card to work with, the Tome of Imperial Flame. And
Yeah, well, and
so
I think that's like right after Dromai LL too. So it's like, what deck's gonna stop KO?
yeah, and then Mistfell came out.
Yeah, and then Mistveil came out,
Yeah.
and
And
they
then
all
the
stopped
rest is
KO.
history. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like KO is like just a little too fair, is really what it is. Like he's got good numbers, but which is weird to say. It's weird to say that KO is too fair, but he just plays on a very like a single axis of like, I'm just gonna attack you and I'm gonna have some power turns. Whereas these other decks can do a lot more flexibility, or they
Mhm.
just have this evasion, or they just have some others raw power going for them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah. Um, anyway, I guess we probably don't need to exhaust that too much more. But Lyath
Right.
not performing as hot as we thought. RKO actually doing better than I initially thought, and then Tough Nut doing exactly what I thought he would be doing.
See, that's a hero you could have buffed to the moon and back, and you'd still be pretty.
I mean, he already has such polarized matchups that if he
Yeah.
was buffed further, then it'd be disgusting. I do think that like that's one thing I want to bring up is that the fact that the only hero from this set that got a weapon was Pleiades is interesting, right? They didn't even give
I
him like
wouldn't.
in weapons in the
Mhm.
expansion slots, right? Like if the argument was they didn't want to have weapons for the limited format, then sure, just put them in the expansion slots, right? But they didn't even do that. They didn't even do that. And so currently, ToughNut is using Rock, which is I think is his signature weapon,
I was
or
gonna say,
the
I think he
Omni
was
Club.
designed around the idea of Raka.
Yeah, but it's just not good. It also very much limits the deck building aspect. Like if you're a rock deck, you will strictly just be bad into gravy. You're gonna lose gravy every time. You're gonna lose a lot of matchups every time because you're just gonna like block out. You're gonna activate your tough nut ability, and you're not gonna hit a blue, and then you're just gonna lose because you have.
I mean,
That's the problem with rock is that if you block out and then you miss, that's it. Like you're not doing anything that turn, right?
I mean,
Unless you
I
have an
have
R
played a
star.
rock build, and it does run a lot of Clash with the idea, and especially those Clash cards that let you put stuff to the bottom of your deck. Yeah, like the idea is like I get to look at the top card of my deck to know if I
Yeah,
get to kind of
but
like
guess
pop
what?
off next turn.
Guess what color those clash cards are? They're all yellow.
No,
So
no,
you have to run all these
the
yellows in the deck.
you do have to run yellows, but you also get to run the blues, which is good, and you probably run
Yeah.
the reds as well in that. So because like, oh no, like my first clash didn't go off, like I can't clash with the second one, so I might as well just keep this red to throw it. Like,
Yeah. But it's just like your deck construction, and I think it's like one of the things with all these decks is that your deck construction feels so locked. Um,
yeah,
right? Where like with Lyath, you have to run a lot of the new cards because
mhm,
the old Guardian cards just don't do anything for you. Um, and then with Tough Nut, you have to run a lot of the new cards, or you have to build your deck in a very specific way to work around your weapon. And then with Pleiades, you have to build your deck in a very specific way with all the new stuff, which is not a big deal because like Gravy you use all the new cards too. But
yeah,
it's just I don't know. It's just interesting that Tough Nut is so siloed into a certain game plan. Um,
yeah.
and I think if he had like a Go Gun weapon instead, uh, he would be in a much better spot. But he just does not have a Go Gun weapon.
It'd be kind of interesting to see if he could like switch between the two. Like if he had a go again weapon versus if he had like
Yeah,
rock.
there could be a world where that happens. um,
I
and then
and then like
Lance
it
just runs
allow him to
Titan's
play
Fist.
in all the Guardians just run Titan Fist. Even Pallades just runs Titan Fist in
Yeah,
most decks I see nowadays. Like
yeah, exactly. It's hard. I mean, it's hard to make a weapon better than that. To be fair,
it's not hard. But
it's hard to make it. Sorry, it's hard to make a better weapon better than that without it being broken.
I guess that's fair, yeah.
um,
But like
yeah.
I wish we could get another weapon that was maybe not even like better than it, but like I would think about it.
Well, that's the thing is like Moment Maker is that weapon, right? Like it's a 3 for 4
Mhm.
at its base that can sometimes be a 3 for 6 on hit confidence. Like, come on, like that's just so good. But it just
I mean, it is really good. It is really good,
like it's
but
so
it's
so
a lot
strong.
harder to pull off than like
Yeah,
you think. That's
it
the like
is.
biggest
But
problem.
it is funny how like it's already solid at a 1 card 4 without any restriction on what you're pitching.
Yeah,
But it's just better to have the restrictive 1 card 4 with a shield because it's one-handed as well.
yeah.
Um, so
It's
I
like
think it's
gain 3 life versus like I might be able to get 2 extra damage out of this.
yeah. But I mean, like especially with Palladium, sometimes you're pitching not 3 costs to the hammer, right?
Yeah.
So you lose a value there every once in a while. Yeah, it's super interesting.
I don't know, and it might be something like the more you play Pallades, the more you actually like her weapon. But
I think that'll be the
I'm
case.
interested.
I think that the more people figure out the deck and stuff, the more Moment Maker will start making sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, Titan's Fist Rampart still just too strong. Also, side note, I played against Goliath as Dio on Talishar, and man, that deck can fatigue me way too well. It's really just Rampart,
Really?
honestly. Rampart is the big
Oh
thing.
yeah.
You want to break the chain so often as Dash IO. It's tough. Like you can try to play around it all you want, but like your power plays just involve breaking the chain too much. Um, and it's hard to sequence your stuff in a way that plays around it. So Lioness can actually fatigue Dio, which is so sad.
That's so funny. Maybe I should start putting Rampart in all my Guardians.
Honestly,
I don't think I need
Rampart is
it,
just
but
good. Rampart is just good.
Rampart is
Um,
good.
yeah, do you want to
But
talk? So, do you have anything else to say before we talk about what you weren't able to talk about on the tier list video last week?
No. We can definitely just jump in on overall thoughts.
Yeah. So yeah, these are your overall thoughts on Super Slam when it comes to not the meta or anything, but like the actual product itself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say we talked a lot about like the meta relevance of Super Slam, but like I do want to talk about the actual product as well because I think there was a lot that went right with this. I think there's a lot of really good things because like even like there's definitely over the last year been a few like box opening experiences where you like sit down and I'm sure like everyone's had that. It's like, oh, let me open a box and you open it up and you're like, oh, that was not worth it. I got 6 Majestics and 2 of them are playable, and my cold foil is a common, and nothing else really came out of the box.
It's like that was one of the most annoying things opening boxes. When you open that cold foil common, you're like, wow, I'm not getting anything else in this case.
Yeah. And it's like you
At
can
least the box.
still get it in Super Slam. Like I definitely like I opened a case and I definitely in a couple boxes got cold foil common. But like I want to say like the box opening experience was like one of the most fun experiences. Like
Yeah.
and even like watching people open boxes like during pre-release events when the people got boxes and even afterwards when seeing people open it at like armor or like armies and all that kind of stuff. Like seeing people open pack and be like, ah, super rare. Oh, another super rare. Oh, a majestic.
You're just having like more
Oh, would you
hits,
look at this?
right?
Yeah, and it's just like more hits. And I want to say like the super rares like felt really good. And even if it's like I don't think super rares are coming back again, at least for the foreseeable future. Although like I like them a lot more than I thought I would. But like even if like they're even a little bit more majestics, like and the pull rate was a little bit higher. Like there's more majestics and the pull rate was a little bit higher, where like to the point of like you're still pulling maybe the average amount of majestics if they want to keep it that way. Or I meant like not average, but like the pull rate on certain majestics are still the same. I like I think it would help the box opening experience for like people to like open more majestics and feel like they're getting more juice in their packs.
Yeah.
Because like it does like feel bad sometimes when you're like, oh man, I opened this pack or like I opened this box and I got this many majestics. So I just had like this many packs that just meant nothing.
Yeah.
So it's like it feels really good to just go through and start ripping through packs and be like, "Oh wow, this is really cool. Wow, this is really good." And like it felt good. Like it felt
Yeah.
really cool to open and it was fun to watch people open it because like people are just hitting all the time and there's so many cool things. And I want to say, like, on top of that, like the cold foils are super sick. Like, there's so much more than just the common cold foils in this. Like, you have majestics that are cold foils. You have all the extended arts for like armor and all these just random cards.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are very playable. Like the Pallades Blue Auras, like even though like I might not like some of them, I think they are all very playable. So to see them all at like that extended art is really cool. Like
Yeah.
and
I just had a thought. Why don't they make
yeah,
Marvel weapons? Why isn't that a thing?
that's a good thought. I
That'd be kind of cool,
That would be so cool.
right?
Like especially if they
LSS,
like
Marvel weapons. We want them,
place.
please. Weapons, shields, everything. That'd be really cool. Because I know like they did an alt art Rampart, and it is like an
Mm,
EA version. It's almost a Marvel, but like having
yeah.
an actual Marvel would be really cool. Like why not? Why can't my entire board just be Marvel? That'd be sick.
Why can't I just bling everything? Because like
Honestly,
it would be cool, even if like it was a little bit of an altar of like someone using the weapon too. Like marvel that out.
yeah, that'd be
That
sick
would
too.
be sick.
Yeah, I think like that's like I brought this up maybe a couple of podcasts ago, which is I think that the more top end bling you can throw it into these sets or just into like participation prizes and stuff, the better the game will be, right? Because it's
Mhm.
so cheap. Well, it's not that cheap to make it because you have to like make sure the art is in the right way to like have a marvel and stuff. So maybe it's not like the cheapest thing in the world, but man, does it allow for such better, what's what I'm looking for? I'm trying to phrase this in a way where like the more top end you put in a box, the cheaper the bottom end version of those cards become, and the more playable the
Hmm.
game becomes, while still allowing for hits to be in the box, right? Like if you just have more marbles and more cold foils and more of that stuff, the more desirable stuff, then people can still play with the bottom rarity cards, and then you get to anyway. Rant over. I've already talked about this before, but man, Marvel. If you just have an entire Marvel deck, that would be sick. That's like
Yeah,
that's part of the reason I want to play Marionette is because you can bling out the entire deck with EAs and Marvels and stuff. It's so cool.
yeah, and it's like you get that like a lot more in Super Slam. Like, I don't know where I
There are
put
a lot
them,
of
but there was
EAs. Yeah.
I got like 2 EA Majestics in my cold foils, which was like super cool because it's like the show strength one, which is the 2 for 8, and then it was the puffin one. So it's like really cool to like pull those. And like I don't know how good the puffin one is, but it's like I pulled it. I'm like, this is sick. This is so cool. And
Yeah.
it's like it feels good to pull those instead of pulling the like cold foil arms that creates 3 toughness if you control one or something like that. Like,
Right. Like those should just be participation prizes or like gem pack prizes.
yeah.
Like I don't know. I don't like cold foil commons in the packs. It's just never felt good.
Yeah, it's weird to get a cold foil common because it just always is just like, oh,
Yeah.
well,
Like
that's going in
every
both
once in
as
a
a cold
while, it's a
foil.
playable cold foil common. Like
Yeah,
every once in a while it is, but not often.
yeah, and that's why it's like the set felt a lot better about that. Like, there's a lot of really cool cold foils you can open up, and a lot of really cool like, and even if like in that one I got the cold foil common, like I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like I got like how many super rares and this, and this, and these majestics. Like, sure. And I pulled the extended art Marvel cold foil brute card in the last one. So like, who cares? And like it felt like a lot of fun. And like I just want to emphasize the point of like this set felt like the most fun I've had opening Flesh and Blood, if not like in a long time, like since I first started playing, where like every
Yeah.
card was cool because like every card's interesting and unique. Like so, it is cool, and I hope they like keep this trend of like okay, like coiled foil majestics and doing all this and make every box feel like it's fun and eventful and like there's a lot of stuff to pull, even if you don't pull like the juice. Like okay, I got all these cool little cards. I have fun little like extended arts and all that fun stuff. So I hope that keeps up. And I think it has one of the best box opening experiences, which like I think is a huge success for
That
like
is a
Super
big deal.
Slam.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Um
And then I'm gonna move some things around, but like I want to talk about like reprints as well. Like, thank God they came in. They did
yeah.
their work. A lot of these cards have fallen in price.
Coin and Plow are so cheap now. It's insane. They tanked in price.
Yeah.
Absolutely tanked in price. I think Felon is like, or I think Felon's like $10 and Plow is like $3 or something crazy like that. Now I'm curious. Then I gotta look him up.
Yeah, I was like, that sounds crazy low, but let's see.
Yeah, Felon of the Crown, Super Slam is $12, and then
Yeah.
Plow under is $5. So I was a little bit below. I think they did dip pretty low at one point, and then I might have come back up a little bit. But yeah, pretty huge tanks from those ones. New Horizons, my God,
Oh yeah. As
that
a
one tanked a ton.
legendary.
So the Aria version of the card used to be, I think, $100 for the rainbow foil version, and is now $55. And the new one is $15. It's only $15 for a New Horizon,
Yeah.
which is insane compared to where it used to be. What else do we get? Warmongers.
There's lo-
Go ahead.
yeah, warmongers. Almost
Diplomacy. So that one used to be. Let me look at what it used to
31.
be.
It was like $80.
3 months ago, it was $70 per copy, and now it's
Yeah.
30. And that's for the cold foil. The cold foil is cheaper. It's at 31. Which honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the art to be honest, but it's still
I
cool.
do
This
like
gold
the
foil.
old art more.
Yeah. What else was reprinted? Oh,
I have heard some people like the new art more, but like I personally like the old art more. But I don't know. I kind of like that gritty style,
yeah,
like that
exactly.
gritty, more realistic style.
What
While this
was
one has a lot more bright colors and definitely
Snag? That's
pops a lot more. I like the older style a little more.
Mhm. And then Snag, it used to be like $30 a copy, and now it's $7 for the new one.
And it has the correct text on it.
Oh, I didn't even notice that part. Yeah, they updated the
Yeah.
text. That's cool. There's one more reprint. Reprint? Am I crazy?
What else was there? Oh, Flick Knives.
Flick, no, Flick, that was a big one too.
That was like super expensive beforehand. Yeah, it's at $20.
$20, and it was 3 months ago. It was $125.
Yeah.
So 1/6 of the price. What else do we have here? What else? That might be it.
Yeah. Like, man, that feels a lot better for the game. Like,
yeah,
these cards, like, and sure, some things should still hold value. Like the old Flick Knives is still at like $37, around $40. And maybe you might think like that dropped too much, but like, man, like I own a lot of these cards. Like I had a playset of Warmonger's Diplomacies, and I am so happy to see these drop. Like, I'm very happy that they are taking a much more aggressive approach to reprints. And I really hope they keep this up. And that's yeah, and like a lot of these are very valuable reprints too. So it's like something where you can go and buy the set, get a reprint, and feel really good about it. Like I I pulled two of the now $5 plow unders, but I was so excited to pull those. Like I was like, this is sick. I'm so excited.
that was something. I feel like the pull rate of some of these reprints is much higher than it has been in the past on reprints. Like for example, the legendary Command and Conquer, it's still very expensive.
Insanely
Whereas,
rare.
like I think the pull rate of it was much lower than, for example, the legendary Codex of Frailty. That one was, I think, a much higher pull rate, and so then it tanked the price more, which is what we wanted. I think that was the problem with like the Command and Conquer reprint, is that it was it was like extremely rare to get, and so it didn't actually
because it
do
feels
a ton.
like every time there's a Command and Conquer reprint, it's it's just super rare, and it doesn't make
the first one was
difference.
Marvel. It was funny. I mean, it was nice to have. It's like a cool card to have, but it didn't change the price of Command and Conquer.
I mean,
at all.
yeah, it wasn't really a reprint. It was more of just a cool card. Well, it's like,
which I'm in support of, by the way. I think that instead of
I do think that
because it was a fable. That's what it was. It was a fabled. And I think that that's the way that fabled should be. They should just be alt arts or not gems.
yeah, and not this gem that came out of this set that I've seen, and a lot of decks. My decks run them. The aggro decks run them.
Yep.
Like every deck
the
is
winning
running it right
the winning
now.
deck in calling Shizuka
won it.
I was running it. Yeah, and I think it was relevant too in the finals, if I remember correctly. It's
a really good gem.
Yep,
it's really good.
Good. Good old generic blue gem. What could go wrong, right?
Yeah, like that fabled is really cool, and I like that CNC. I don't consider it really a reprint, but like it's so cool. Now I'm hoping the next set has CNC at Majestic level that's reprinted at a rate in which CNC drops below $80. But
yeah, we'll see.
yeah, I don't think they'll do it, unfortunately, but it is the card that I think needs the most reprints. Like it is the strongest card in the game if you don't include Tunic.
Yeah. I agree. That's definitely one of the cards where it's like every time you like a new player comes in the game and like, how could I upgrade my deck? You're like CNCs, you gotta get 3 of them. It's gonna cost you $200. Sorry.
Vanda Spring Tunic, there's another $150.
Yeah, but at least it's like one copy for $100, $150. Whereas like this is like you have to buy 3 of these things. and it's not
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It feels different. It feels different when it's
No,
like
and
a
it really does.
Um, but
And
yeah,
it's like you're not looking at CNC the entire game and using its effect every third turn and feeling like this is worth it. Like CNC is like, oh, I use it like 2, maybe 3 times per game, and sometimes it feels worth it if the opponent just doesn't block out, especially
it's
as a
just
new
too
player.
important though.
But
It's
yeah,
like
it's
when you lose that card, you like lose a couple percentage points in a lot of matchups, if not more percentage points.
yeah.
Like it's just too important too.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I reprints are good. Long story short, reprints did a great job in this set.
Oh yeah.
I'm still a little bit annoyed by the bait and switch we got from the expansion slot usage of this set. Like we got shown off these really cool specialization cards to start off with, and we got baited into thinking that like we are gonna get a specialization card for most heroes, and then that just was not the case at all. It wasn't even close to the case at all.
Yeah.
They just decided to show off specializations first for whatever reason, and
Oh, I
then
did mean to mention this. You did
yeah.
say you're gonna quit Flesh and Blood if we didn't get the log. So this is Cody's last
You're right.
podcast. He's
You're right. I totally forgot about that. Yep. All right. I'm selling out of Flesh and Blood. If anybody wants a collection of mostly Dromai cards and Dash.io cards, hit me up. Why do we have the log? Give us the log, LSS. Give us the log. Come on. What's
I know.
stopping
I
you?
was so surprised we didn't
I'm
actually
so
like that.
shocked.
And we
Such
got
an
like
easy one.
a bunch of support for heavy hitters, and Betsy was missed. They're like Olympia, you get stuff. Kasai, you get stuff.
Instead, we got fucking parched terrain. Why? This card is ass. Who wants to run this card? Why did we get parched terrain before we got log? Who at LSS do I need? Can I blame for this? Like, come on, Brian, was this you?
But yeah, no, it's. I for sure thought we were at least getting logged because I'm like, oh, every other hero from heavy hitters got support. Of course they're gonna give Betsy the log. Nope. But yeah,
it's so easy too. It's so easy too. It's just such an easy win. Just give us the log. You've been asking for this for years.
But yeah, anyway. I think the expansion slots and the reprints, like were really good. Like even the expansion slots, having so many, it was like really cool for someone. Like this was like my set, but I hear that it's like cool to have a lot more support for heroes outside of the classes that are in the set, so you can upgrade some decks outside of it, and you don't have to just wait another 6 months for something to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree. I want to see more reprints. I think that this number of expansion slot cards is also probably just better for the game, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you get more hits in your boxes. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. But I think you might get more hits in your boxes when you have these all these expansion slot cards here. And then reprints in the expansion slot cards. I think that's a pretty big win. I think the reprints in the gem packs is maybe a little bit better, but I think it's perfectly fine to have them in the expansion slot cards.
I think that's my biggest loss about not going to the armories. I haven't experienced the new gem packs yet. Like I haven't seen those
so bad.
Open. I want to open them so bad.
Yeah,
I also really need the red boulder drops.
Yeah,
I really need the red boulder drops.
Well, don't you get a playset in the Pleiades Armory deck?
I have not found one yet.
Really?
They're like
they're sold out.
Like, they sold out quick, from my understanding. And then also like a couple places that I went didn't get them yet, so I need to double check. But
I see. Yeah, but huge win on the expansion slot front. Outside of the way that they, revealed it and didn't give us log. And yeah, I expect us to see this continued trend of the following set having the expansion slot cards for the previous set. So I fully expect us to have 4 expansion slot cards in the next set for each of the heroes in Super Slam. Yeah, I think that that's like just a causality is not the word I'm looking for, but it's just a thing that happens because of the way that card games are designed, where they design the set, it's already in production, now nothing can happen, but in testing they find that maybe this could be good, right? like after they've already done some initial play tests, they're now finding things to like make the heroes better or some cool things that they can add to them. And so I think it's just like a natural way that the design flow works, where they find out what the hero could want or what can excel in the hero, what can add more
Yeah.
flavor to it. And so it'll be in the next set. I think that's just gonna be a
Also,
common
kind
thing
of
for
see
me.
what the players like and think of the heroes, and see what they want more of.
No, because the thing is that a set is designed, I think at least 4 to 5 months ahead of the release, and so
I
like
think it's designed like a year ahead, like
it
a year
starts
ahead, if
design
not
a
a
year
little bit
ahead.
more.
But like for example, right now, the next two sets are probably locked, right?
Oh, yeah. I can imagine you might be able to add a couple extra cards, but I think the next set's probably in printing right now.
No, I think
But
'cause the problem is like you have to get the art, and that's a process.
oh, you're right. Well, and I
So
think that's when like Felling and Plow Under, where like didn't have alt arts as reprints, while a lot of the other cards had alt arts. And that's where I'm like, I think you can sneak some things in. Like I think Felling and Plow Under, they're like, these should not be $80 cards.
yeah,
Like three heroes play them and they're $80 cards. Like that's CNC level
yeah,
for three heroes. So like I think they snuck those in, and that's why they didn't have alternate arts. But it's like where I think like you can sneak cards in,
you
but
could.
I think that it's mostly locked in right as the other set ends. So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if most, if not all, the cards are locked in and the next set's in print right
I
now.
mean, printing probably starts for the next set before this set even came out. Like printing
That's
probably
probably
already
fair.
started. Um,
So maybe you're right. Maybe I'm off, but
I think I don't know the exact amount of time, but it's got to be at least 3 months
yeah,
before is when they start printing. Uh, but anywho, uh, yeah, I think it'll be interesting. It's probably a trend that'll keep continuing. Is all I was trying
yeah.
to say there. Um,
The
I
last thing
think
I want to talk
yeah,
about with like Super Slam is kind of like the sealed. Like it was fun. It was really cool. And like I think it was very interesting to like sit down and do these pre-releases. But I can definitely tell why it's not a competitive staple event. Like no
yeah,
weapons makes it like interest. Like it's cool, but you get to like, and not that I really experienced this, but you can get to some end states, and I hear like there's a lot more ties in this format than any other format.
yeah,
And like I could definitely see that being a point, because like I don't think what the pre-release I went to, like any of our decks were like crazy sealed. Like I think there was one person that got like a super consistent and they ended up winning like consistent sealed, and it did a lot of really strong things. But no one got like a really crazy OTK plan. Like no one was able to just like aura, pop them all, spend something crazy at you. But it's
yeah,
like hearing some of the experiences, and even like the consistent deck, or even every once in a while, like I was playing Goliath, just having that turnaround and some crazy come out of mine, because I'm like, I think I threw like an attack for like 18. Like it was the only thing I did. My deck wasn't like crazy good, but it wasn't crazy bad. I think I won two, lost one, but it's somewhere it's like I threw an attack for 18. I'm like, this is sick. This is really cool. It's really awkward for my opponent. They block out, they take 5 damage. Now they're down to like 5 and stuff like that. But it's like I could definitely see where like with no weapons and just the power level of like this set, like especially sealed sometimes being, I see why it's limited to pre-release. And it was a really fun pre-release. It was really cool. Like I'm like, I had a lot of fun, and I think a lot of people there had a lot of fun. But I can't imagine playing this more than that pre-release and still having fun.
yeah. I mean, and seals has always been a bit tougher on the balancing side, but
Yeah.
we definitely saw at the world premiere the weakness of the draft format as well. Um, Guardian was pretty rough in draft.
When the top 8 ended up being 6 brutes and 2 guardians, and the brutes were still better decks,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they
that's
neither the Guardians 3-0'd even though they were the one ofs. Like
yeah,
that's when you know it's a pretty rough set.
like
Um,
that's I see why there was only one draft event, and it was the first week, so no one got a chance to figure it out. And when
yeah,
they figured it out in the end, it was draft brute.
yeah. And
And
so
you might win if you're the only guardian in the pod.
And that leads to
My
the question: Is was Worlds made uh replaced? Did they replace draft with LL because they wanted LL, or did they replace draft with LL because the draft was bad?
I I don't think it was necessarily that, but I think they wanted, so this is my little fan theory. I think they wanted to push LL. And I think they wanted this event to be LL and CC. And I think they used this as an excuse to test how they could build a set. They're
Yeah.
like, hey, we're gonna make this LL. We want to push LL. Let's use this as an excuse to really test a format.
See, that
Do
was the
stuff that
original
we
thought,
normally can't.
right?
Yeah.
That was the original thought behind when they first announced it was going to be LL. That was like, oh yeah, they're just trying to push LL. They're trying to make it more mainstream. But at the same time, it's hard to ignore the possibility that
Yeah.
this set was completed in development. They start playing draft, and even, no matter what they do, they can't make it better. And they're like, this is not going to be good for Worlds. This is coming out. This is the last set before Worlds, and then they just made the executive decision to start pushing LL in response.
Well, I remember like last year they were really pushing LL. Like I think they've calmed down a little bit, but they were really pushing LL. So I wouldn't be surprised if they made this decision last
Yeah.
year when this set was in the design process.
It's sort of conspiracy theory to like
Yeah,
say it
yeah.
was because of the draft set. I
And
don't deny that, but
yeah. And that's why I'm like, I think it's honestly them being like, hey, we're gonna do LL and the like this isn't gonna be announced for another 9 months, but we're gonna do LL in Worlds.
yeah,
And that's what we want to do. We want to push it. We may want to make it really cool. And now we have an excuse to make a set that's draftable. But like, let's just turn up the dials. And like we talked about this mechanically, it's a very unique set, and there's a lot of really cool things. And there's a lot of dials they turned. But I
that's
think they used like the push for LL as an excuse to like mess with some dials that they don't know how to tune.
a much stronger argument actually. Is that it was the reverse, that they decided to make Worlds LL, and then that allowed them to make a much more experimental draft
Yeah.
set. Yeah. I will
Because
say
like
there's,
or I mean LSS is smart. I
yeah,
think they have the foresight in this science stuff.
but I will say like I think that they maybe they made a commitment to making draft sets or something, but they could have just
Mm.
made this not a draft set. That was an option. um,
Yeah,
but
here we are.
yeah, here we are. It's fine. Um, Last but not least, I wanted to like just give a quick snippet on Silver Age. I think it's really cool that they announced that it's a full format now. I think they have a calling. I think it's a calling and a battle hardened, or two callings, or something like that, for Silver Age events. And I can't wait for those to be competitive events in the future.
Yeah, like I'm interested to dive a little bit deeper in that. It seems really cool, and I know we talked about it when it first became like announced as a test format, but like I'm excited to dive deeper on that.
Yeah, me too. There's so much deck building to be done there too.
Mm.
So, um, yeah, I think that's it. So, what question should we ask the audience? What should we leave them with?
Oh man, who are
What do
you
you
bringing to your pro quest?
Ooh, yes. What are you bringing to your pro quest? Let us know in the comments below, either on YouTube or on Spotify. And with that, I'm Cody.
And I'm Jacob.
And thanks for watching and listening.